Jonathan was a rookie as he joined the New Jersey force for lesser than a year.
He balanced his life with work and church as he never missed out on either. He always present at work do his duties by patrolling the busy streets with his partner Mark. A husband and a father of 3, 2 boys and 1 girl, he always present at every church services, holding the position as a deacon. Bishop Albert, there is room to improve Jonathan. As the bishop of the Get Ready Apostolic seated on the rastdom, spoke to Jonathan. Jonathan, yes Bishop, and I ready at any time for what God called me to do. Bishop, hold on to your faith and you will see the glory of God. The choir echo the gospel songs as the offering be lifted as slowly end the beautiful song Redemption Coming. The conductor of the service called on Jonathan to pray God's blessings on the offering. Jonathan, please let us stand and bow our heads before our God. Jonathan then called on Matthew Bishop only son who was the choir leader to lift another song. Jonathan and Alex hastily put away their luggage into their lockers and headed towards the board room for the meeting. Everyone was present there. Chief Police Officer pointed at the chart. Good day everyone, today is not a happy or pleasant day as the news been echoing about this new group sledgers increasing in our little vicinity. Our godly community which was established by holiness, love and peace is changing speedily. He pointed to the chart specifically at the red zone which symbolized blood. Chief Police Officer stand and said, now I want each and every one of you to hit the streets today, lift up every concrete and bring back solid information, bring back persons of interest, and this will be a everyday thing. Driving through the streets of Jackson, Mississippi, the road was clear. Further up there was a bunch of young men standing leaning on the sidewalk. Police Officer Jonathan said to Police Officer Mark, let's check these guys out. Remember to have your Colt ready for anything. Jonathan, guys, how is the day going? See you all hanging out. Although there was silent, Jonathan still prolonged. Jonathan said, I'm getting straight to the point, looking for a crew, they called themselves Sledge. Still no answer. Police Officer Mark said, listen, we don't want have to rough up you guys. A small voice dances it way from the back of the crew, short in status back. You can see that he is about 18 years old. Short young man, his name is Lotus, he is the chief for the crew, and a very notorious man. He will kill just for me saying this to you, and one of his killing method is to hung his victims in the streets naked. Mark, at least we are getting somewhere. Could you tell us where he normally hung out? Short guy, the information of where he lives I don't have, and even if I did, I wouldn't be giving you for free because my life is in jeopardy. Jonathan, we are grateful for this information and will be around if you have more details for us. Here, take my card. As Officer Mark and Jonathan turned their back towards this crew, they could hear angry whispers coming from the crew members. Why did you snitch on Lotus? Do you know what he will do to us if he find out? The officers entered the patrol car, drove back to the office to meet with the chief. Chief, thanks for being here on time. What information did you gathered?
Mark stands as the other coworkers look to hear what he have to say. Mark said his name is Lotus. He is the leader of this notorious gang. My colleague and I also get information of his method of killing by stripping people and hanging their dead body in the streets. Chief. Good info. Anyone else? Samantha. Well, by tomorrow, Chief, you will hear more information as we have an informer working for us. Chief. Good, very good. Now you guys go home to the family, get some rest, and tomorrow we will start again. Thank you, Chief. Wednesday night service was wonderful as other churches came in from different vicinity. Harlem, New Jersey Apostolic Faith was there with their mass choir. Matthew Bishop's son did put down his conducting talent as he showed them how we worship at our church. Matthew was such a genius in keeping the church in worshiping and having all young people active. This something he'd been doing for years, and it helped the church to move to another level yearly. Yes, we have preachers that come in, but Matthew plays a big role in keeping up with the church and its activity. He also is the young president now that he is 25. He is doing a marvelous job. The bishop loves to brag about his only child. He even said that one day he will ordain him as the new bishop for this church. Since it's Matthew 28 birthday, the bishop take the time after the minister preached to invite everyone to his son birth celebration tomorrow night at his house. He specifically said, no one should be absent. I asked the bishop pardon as we are working on a very serious case, that the chief will need all hands on. I told him the wife and kids will represent me. He asked me twice if I sure I can't make it. Jonathan. Yes, bishop, I'm sure about this. While Mark and I attacked the streets, we could not find this Lotus person. We digged up every street and suspicious house in our vicinity, but no luck. Samantha, on the other hand, her partner Officer Hewitt, got a lead to some information where one of the gang member reside. This is a big leap to where we was with information. The chief hastily get an authorized warrant to assign the team to this location and apprehend such an individual, by all means necessary. We gathered to the house that looked designed for elderly folks. Mark and I, who was armed into our bulletproof vest, we were at an area around the house to see if anyone is taking the back or side exit. The more professional officers and SWAT team work the front door and the other side door. Suddenly heavy gun shots echoes from within the house, shots fired towards the officer that the officers have no choice but to return heavy bullets towards the inside of the house. We waited patiently to see if anyone would run out on us, but no one did. Mark and I stopped with our guns in hand, listening to all the bullets echo, awaiting the results with expectation for anything or anyone to come our way. Suddenly all was quiet and McIntosh, the head of command, called us around the front. All we saw is 4 blooded body on the ground, young men in their 20s. These were some of Sledge recruited soldiers. They were willing to fight it out and not to be apprehended by our team. Thank God none got hurt on our team. Reporting back to head office, chief was very proud of all of us. Chief. At least we got some of them, and send a message to the head that we are coming for all. Excellent job today, team. Now go home and get ready for tomorrow because the hunting just started. Meanwhile at home, my wife and kids were all tired due to Matthew's birthday party. My wife told me in details of all that occurred and who attended the party. She talked and talked as I sat there in the sofa and fell asleep. Got up early as I found myself into the bed. I know my wife somehow get me into the bed as usual. Jonathan. Morning, beautiful. As I kissed her on the cheek. Jonathan. You can make life more easy for a minute and stop been so concerned about the things on the news. I promised you I won't go in harm's way. Wife. You know I'm here for you. I am concerned about your safety on these streets, that's all. Jonathan. You know this is what we vowed for, to protect and serve, and I have to see that these streets are clean from violence so that you and the kids can be happy. Wife. I thank God for you. She turned and kissed me as I can feel the tears running down her cheek to mine. Jonathan. I will be out late, please pray for me, I will always love you. Wife. Me too. Mark and I hit the streets again trying to find this leader by the name Lotus. Jonathan. Tonight we putting out everything, it's time we get promoted, and if you and I get this Lotus character, things will be more better for us. Can you imagine raise of pay, the car I always want to buy, Carla. Mark said just maybe then I get married and start attending your church. Jonathan. Now that sounds like music to my ears. Now let's go get this Lotus. We search and search, till one person gave us information that he have a girlfriend by Daly Street, where he comes by every night at about 12 p.m. when the road is clear. He normally comes alone. We immediately drove towards that avenue, but Mark suggested, let's change the company's car. I agreed that it was a good idea. Drive one of our undercover Ford Classic car. We reached the area at approximately 11:30 p.m. The place looked more like a upscale ghetto, dogs barking, swinging gates because of the blowing of the breezes. It was about 12:30 a.m. when we saw this black SUV drove up. It was so dark that Alex and Jonathan couldn't make out the figure, but could only hope that this was the leader of the Sledge crew, Lotus. He was a tall-shaped male figure from what they could made out, because Mark and Jonathan was at a good distance away so he wouldn't make them out. They could only see his figure, but they weren't sure it was in. The person started to look around the moment he stepped out the vehicle, having his hand into the jacket. He stepped towards the house as a young lady wearing a short shorts opened the door for him and he entered the house still looking around. Mark said, what do you think? Is this him? Jonathan. I'm not sure. Well, he seems suspicious of something and he is definitely carrying, and of surety this not one of us. Mark said, you right. Let's wait out. Jonathan. Yes, it's best we take him when he is coming out. Mark, or should we call it in? Jonathan. Don't get giddy-headed on me, this is our time to shine, we going to sit it out and the very moment he left the house we going to apprehend him. Mark. What if he put up a fight? Jonathan. Well, we just got to do what we trained for, this is our job, and Chief did said he want him off the streets, dead or alive. I do hope alive for the love of God, but if he fight we have to fight back. Mark sigh. It was about 2:30 a.m. when we saw movements in the house, so Mark and Jonathan checked their guns and tightened the bulletproof vests. Opened the car door and smoothly creeped down the alley. The male figure was standing at the porch about to leave with the young lady on the porch. Jonathan pointing his gun from a nearby vehicle. Lotus, this is the police, you are under arrest, cooperate. Mark next to a light pole. We know it is, you give up. The male figure started to shoot from the hidden gun that was under his jacket. He shoot towards Mark first, then turned his gun towards Jonathan as he had it on auto. Jonathan blazed fire directly to this person as he was a better shooter than Alex. Jonathan gun blazed into the chest of Lotus. Even when he fell he still was blazing fire in Jonathan direction, but luckily for Jonathan the old maid car he hid behind took all the bullets, which seems like a lot. Finally the atmosphere was silent of gunshots, the only noise was echoing was the voice of the young lady crying. Jonathan. Mark, you okay? A frozen Mark who hid behind the post, released a few bullets in the gun battle, could hardly talk because this was his first shootout. Jonathan shouted again. Mark, are you hit? Mark. Finally Mark respond. I'm good, thank Jesus. Jonathan felt relief as he don't want to have this on his conscience. Mark and Jonathan left their cover area and slowly walked towards the lawn where Lotus was laying and his weeping girlfriend have his head in her lap. The place was so dark that they have to turn in their flashlight while holding their guns. As they walked closer, Jonathan kept looking at the young male figure while shouting, "Do not move." He kept repeating. They finally reach where the young man was lying with the girlfriend. Jonathan. Mark, radio it in, call for backup and ambulance. Mark. He is dead, no one could not survive that, and his foot is stiff, let me check his pulse. Jonathan. Remove his pistol first. Mark. Young lady, please step back, you are weeping for a killer. Step back. Jonathan kneeled down to check if the tattoo is on his right shoulder, that the chief shows in the presentation that Lotus have a knife with heart tattooed on his right shoulder, but while Jonathan was doing that, he realized something to put him in shock, that led him dizzy. The young man laying dead on the lawn was the bishop's son Matthew. Jonathan pulled off the jacket and realized that the tattoo was on his right shoulder. Jonathan head spin faster and faster, his heart feels as if it was going to left his chest.